bring your hands together at your heart. Make your commitment to be steady and also to be easeful or peaceful in every posture on your mat and off your mat today. As you exhale, bow your head toward your heart, sealing that intention. And then release your hands down to your legs. And then on your next inhale, rise up through your spine, through the top of your head, and then lift your eyes open. All right, friends, we'll get into our next asana or posture, which will be all fours on your mat. If you're following along with the playlist, I did make one for today. You can use your own music, of course. The playlist for today is Virtual Yoga 6/25, June 25th, Virtual Yoga 6/25. So you can press or tap play on that and make your way to hands and knees on your mat. Place the knees under the hips, the wrists, underneath the shoulders. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale fully through your mouth. On your next inhale, take cow pose, look forward. On your next exhale, cat pose, spine towards the sky. Use your breath to guide you, inhaling into cow and exhaling into cat. Getting accustomed to breathing in a steady way, and also getting accustomed here to connecting the movement to the breath, opening up the spine a little bit. One more rotation into cow pose, and one more exhale to take you into cat pose. And then come into neutral. We'll move into child's pose from here. Widen the knees out, bring the big toes to touch. Shift your hips back just as much as it works for your ankles and your knees, your hips. Stretch your arms out in front. Rest your forehead if you can on the mat. Big breath in here through your nose. Deep, full exhale through your mouth. Next inhale, lift up just a little bit and walk your hands over to the right. So right hand really walks far to the right, and then place your left palm on top of your right hand. Weave the left fingers into the webbing of the right hand, and then pull back through your left hip, through your left side, getting a stretch into the left side body. And then inhale, release. Walk your hands through the middle, and exhale, walk your hands off to the left. So left hand walks over to the left, right hand is on top. Weave the right fingers into the left hand webbing, and then pull back, sit back through the right hip. Stretch out that right side. And then inhale, release. Walk your hands back to the middle and lift up to hands and knees. So we'll bring the knees in hip width distance apart here and put the tops of the feet on the floor. As you inhale, you're going to take your hips back towards your heels and slide your right hand back on the mat. And then lift up, hips lift up, arm lifts up overhead, and then bring it back down to the mat. We'll keep doing that. Inhale, back and up. Exhale, reach your arm forward and down. Inhale, back and up. Exhale, forward and down. 2 more rotations. Listen to your knees, your ankles. Only take your hips back as far as it works for you. And then bring that right hand down to the mat. We'll take the second side now. Inhale, hips go back, hand slides back, and then lifts up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, back and up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. And then last one here, big rotation of the arm, hand down to the mat, tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. Lift your hips up, sink your heels towards the floor. Move your head around a little bit here, shake it out, open up the back and the sides of the neck. Take your feet a little farther apart from each other. As you exhale, shift both heels over to the right and lengthen through the left side body. Inhale, heels back to the middle. Exhale, heels to the left. Lengthen through the right side body. Inhale, heels back to the middle. Big breath in through your nose. Full exhale through your mouth and downward dog. And then look up at the front of your mat and walk your feet up to the top of your mat. Fold over your legs here. Take your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. Put a little steadiness into your shoulders. Lift the tops of the shoulders away from the floor and then squeeze the shoulder blades towards one another on your back. And then bring your hands away from your back. So be easy with yourself here. In this forward bend, as your hands come away from your back, it will deepen the stretch across the backs of the legs because you have more weight coming forward, pulling those muscles a little bit more. Bring your hands to your hips, and as you inhale, rise up to stand. Bring your hands to your heart. We'll flow with the breath here. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, sweep them out and down. Fold into forward bend. Inhale, lengthen out halfway. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale into plank pose. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Tops of the feet on the floor, stretch the spine up, reach the heart forward, and then exhale, lower back down to your mat. Stretch your hands back by your hips, palms facing up. Hug your belly in and up, and then as you inhale, lift your legs, lift your arms, reach your fingers back behind you, exhale, lower down. 6 more times, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Move with your breath. Don't rush it. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Lift up and lower. Last one. Lift up high. Reach the fingers back. Exhale, lower down. Bring your elbows underneath your shoulders. You can have your palms together or interlace your fingers, whatever you feel comfortable with here. Tuck your toes under. We're going to come into a forearm plank. So toes are tucked, lift up. Try to not scoop out, hollow out the front of your body. And then we're going to do hip dips. So we're going to dip the hips down to the right side. It doesn't matter if the hips actually, if the right hip touches or not. Come to the center and then dip the hip over to the left. And we'll go back and forth. This is strengthening with some stretching. You're going to have to work with the feet a little bit. They slide around on you here. So you may have to reset the feet when you come to the middle after a dip to one side. 1 more time to the right. And 1 more time to the left. Come into the middle, forearm plank. And then exhale, lower all the way down to your mat. Downward facing dog. Tuck the toes under. Push the hips into the air. Sink the heels down to the floor. And that's it. Walk your feet up to the top of your mat. Stand in forward bend. And then inhale, rise up overhead. So you're going to keep the arms. I'm going to come closer so you can see. You're going to keep the arms up overhead. Bend your right elbow, right palm to your upper back. First option, left hand comes to the tip of the elbow, and maybe you can work the right fingers a little bit farther down your back. Second option is to keep that right arm right where it is, and then just bring the left hand behind the back. Third option is to hook the fingers together. A little early in the practice for a super deep hip opener, this would be a shoulder opener. So listen to your shoulders here. Be steady, but also have that sense of ease. Take a breath in. As you exhale, arc over to the left. And then inhale, back up. Stretch both arms up overhead. And we'll go to the second side. Bend the left elbow. First option, right hand to the tip of the elbow. Second option, bring the right hand around to your low back or maybe waistline, mid-back. Third option, hook the fingers together. If you're hooking the hands but you've lost that sukha, easeful quality, go back to option 2. And as you exhale, arc over to the right. Inhale, back up. Take both arms up overhead. Exhale, forward bend, fold out, fold down. Inhale, lengthen forward halfway. Exhale, take your vinyasa, stepping back to downward dog, or maybe jumping into chaturanga, bending the arms, the elbows, as you take that jump back. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg back behind you. Exhale, lunge your right foot to the top of your mat. Warrior 1, back foot down onto the ground. Stretch your arms up to the sky. Take a moment to find steadiness, especially in your base of the pose, and in easefulness, maybe more up towards the top of the pose. Interlace your fingers, bend your elbows, bring your hands behind your head. Press your head back into your hands. See if you can rotate the elbows higher up towards the ceiling, maybe back towards the wall behind you. And then inhale, reach the arms back up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Twist to the right. Bring your left arm across. Hook it onto your right leg. And rotate across the spine. Inhale, back up to warrior 1, stretch up tall, circle those arms out, big wide circle back behind you, interlace your hands behind the back. Exhale, humble warrior, fold inside that right leg, and then gently, thoughtfully bring your hands away from your back. Yeah. Release your hands down to either side of the front foot. One leg dog, take your right leg back and up. Let's bend the knee and twist open here. Hold the twist, tighten up into your core, get firm and resolute there, and then get a little lighter into your right hand, maybe trying to get the heel of the hand off the mat, maybe all the fingers. And then hand back down, stretch your right leg back. One leg flow opportunity if you like. You can also do 2 leg or hold downward dog. And now that we're approaching or back and downward dog together, second side, inhale, left leg back and up behind you. Exhale, lunge your foot to the front of your mat. Warrior 1, root into the back foot, lift up through your heart, steadiness through the feet and up into the hips. Open, peaceful feeling across the open heart. Interlace your fingers, bend your elbows, take your interlaced fingers, hands behind your head, press your head back into your hands, rotate those elbows up to the sky. And then stretch the arms back up, unlacing the fingers. Exhale, hands to your heart, twist to the left. Bring your right arm across, rotate in that twist. Inhale, back up, warrior one. Circle the arms back behind you as much as you can, lowering them down, interlacing the hands behind your back. Exhale, humble warrior. Once you settle into your pose and you feel some steadiness in your humble warrior, start bringing those hands away from the back. And then release your hands down to either side of your left foot. One leg dog, take your left leg high behind you, bend your knee and twist open. Hold the twist here and start getting a little lighter into your left hand, maybe lifting it off the mat. And then left hand back down, stretch the left leg back behind you. One leg flow or two or no. And then from downward dog, walk, step, handstand, hop your feet up to the front of your mat. Fold over your legs. And then inhale, rise up to stand. Exhale, hands to your heart. Shift your weight into your right foot. Bend your left knee. So use the muscles on the back of that left leg to hike your foot up towards your hip as much as you can, and then reach down with the left hand or your strap. Grab your foot. Now, take your right hand back and grab the inside of that left foot. Free your left arm up, take it up overhead. So your bicep is near your ear, left bicep near your left ear. We're going to go into a variation of dancer pose here. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, bring your heart forward and press your foot back behind you. One more breath in here, and then as you exhale, chair pose. Take the left foot down to meet the right, shift your hips back, keep lifting your heart up. Next, exhale, forward bend, straighten your legs. Inhale, lengthen out. Vinyasa time. From downward dog, inhale, lift your right leg back and up behind you, stretch it up, use the muscles on the back of your leg to lift the leg a little higher. Exhale, lunge your right foot to the front of your mat. Come up to warrior two. Find that steadiness of the warrior, and then add some peace on top of that. Steady, easy, or easeful posture. Reverse warrior, stretch back. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, half moon pose. Bring your weight forward over your right leg. Get your right fingers on your prop or on the floor. Left fingers into the air. Draw the outer left hip back a little bit. Half moon sugarcane pose. Bend that left knee. Reach back with your left hand. Maybe see if you can grab your foot here. And then push the foot back into the hand. Open up a little bit. Stay firm where you can. In your foot, in your hand, in your core. And then on an exhale, release your foot, both hands down to the mat. You're going to keep that left leg lifted. We'll come into a grounded warrior three. So square the hips up here. Bring the front of the left hip a little closer to the floor. Stretching that left leg back to hip height. Revolved half moon pose. Pitch a little weight over into that left hand and twist around to the right. Lifting up the right shoulder, maybe the right arm. You're going to keep this twist And stand as you take the left foot to the back of your mat, bend the right knee, stretch the left arm in front, the right arm back behind in your twist. And then inhale, both arms overhead, turn to face the left, long side of your mat. Hands come behind your back, interlace them there, fold over. Prasarita Padottanasana. And then release your hands down to the mat. Skandasana, so that's side lunges. We'll bend into the right knee first, and then straighten, and then left knee, and then straighten. You have 6 more on your own. That's 6 total. Opening the outer hips, the inner thighs, the backs of the legs, getting a little extra mobility into the ankles, the knees, the hips. Once you've gotten that last one in, whether you're counting or not, let's go ahead and get even on each side and then fold in just a little bit more here. All right, walk your hands back around to the front of your mat, coming into lunge, and then one leg dog, right leg lifts back and up, one leg vinyasa. Opportunity, if that's what you like. From downward dog, bring your feet to the top of your mat. Chair pose, get the hips low and lift the heart high. And then press into the feet, stand up a little standing back bend here. Notice where the firmness, the steadiness comes from in the pose and where you can be a little bit easy in the pose. Inhale, back up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Second side, shift your weight into your left foot. Bend your right knee. So work the muscles on the back of that right leg to pull that heel in towards your hip, and then reach down with the right hand or your strap. Grab your foot, hug your heel in, balancing, stretching the front of the right thigh. And then take your left hand back. Grab the inside of your foot with your left hand. And then as you're ready, free up that right arm and take it straight up overhead. Dancer pose, variation. Deep breath in here, and then as you slowly exhale, bring the heart forward and press the foot back in the same measure as the heart comes forward. Press the foot up towards the ceiling. One more breath here in dancer. Exhale takes you to chair pose. Right foot meets the left, lower the hips down, and then exhale, forward bend, straighten the legs. Inhale, lengthen out. Make your way to downward dog. You can take vinyasa to get you there. Or maybe just step back to downward dog and breathe. From downward dog, inhale, left leg back and up behind you. On an exhale, lunge your left foot to the top of your mat. Spin your back heel down to the ground. Come up to warrior 2. Settle into your pose. Reverse warrior. Inhale, lift back up to warrior 2. Use your exhale to glide forward into half moon pose. Left foot and left fingers on the ground. You'll have a little more steadiness if you take the left hand a little wider than the left foot. Pull the outer right hip back. Half moon sugar cane. Bend your right knee, hug that heel in towards your hip, and then reach back with your right hand. See if your foot is there. If you can grab that foot, draw your shoulder back, push your foot back. It's a back bend here. Take one breath in, gently release your foot, stretch that right leg back behind you, bring your right fingers to the floor. So this is grounded warrior 3 as you draw the right hip down until the fronts of the hips are parallel to the ground. Stay strong in that right leg and then rotate around to the left for a revolved half moon pose. Lifting the left fingers to the sky. Take a breath in. On your exhale, keep the twist. Step your right foot to the back of your mat. Lift your crown of your head straight up to the sky. Right arm in front. Left arm stretches back behind. And then inhale, both arms up. Turn to the right, face the right long side of your mat. And then come into horse stance. Bend your knees, bring your hands above your knees. Toes turn out just a little bit. So we're gonna poke the hips back and bring the chest forward. And we'll twist here 6 times total. Take a breath in. As you exhale, twist to the right so that left shoulder dips into the middle. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale. Exhale, back to the right. Inhale, and to the left. Inhale one more time to the right. And center, and one more time to the left. And then center. Bring your hands down to the floor, square the feet up, straighten the legs, and then fold down. Couple more breaths here. And then walk your hands around to the front of your mat, coming into lunge. One leg dog, left leg lifts up, one leg flow. Bring your feet to the top of your mat. You decide how to move them up. A bunch of steps, maybe 2 steps, maybe a hop, and then a chair pose. It's the last one. Hips down. Reach up through your fingers, through the crown of your head, through your heart. Maybe even take your eyes up. And then stand tall. Straight legs. Find firmness here. Feet, legs, belly, and then back bend. Inhale, back up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, take your arms up high. We're flowing on. Exhale, go low. Inhale, stretch forward. Make your way to downward dog. We're going to take a downward dog scorpion pose here. It's not as intimidating as it sounds. Step your left foot in about an inch or 2, and then turn your left heel in more towards the center of your mat, and your left toes out at about a 45-degree angle. That positioning of that left foot is going to help you a lot with the balance. Look up between your hands, and then inhale with your right leg back and up behind you, and then bend your knee. Use the muscles on the back of the right leg to hug the right heel in towards your hip, and then get light in the left hand. Maybe if you get that whole left hand off the mat, you stretch it back past your left hip and find the right foot. If you get the foot, look forward, bring your shoulders a little bit forward, push your foot into your hand, and then exhale, release, hand to the mat, stretch your right leg back behind you, lift it up, and then exhale, lunge the right foot up to the top of your mat. Oh, that was a lot. Spin your back heel to the ground for triangle pose. Straighten the front leg, get the right fingers right underneath the right shoulder, and then circle the left hand back past your left hip and up overhead. Couple of breaths here in the triangle. And then back to lunge. Bend the right knee, hands frame the front foot, lift the back heel up. One leg dog, right leg back and up behind you. Bend your knee and twist open here. First option to stay in the one leg dog with a twist. Second option is to slowly flip over. So we'll be lifting the right hand off the ground and lowering the right foot to the outside of the left edge of the mat. If you flipped over, come back around to one leg dog. Stay with me. Keep that right leg lifted back and up behind you. And then knee to nose. Pull the right knee in. Stretch the right foot over to the left. Outer edge of the right foot is on the ground. Spin the back heel to the ground and then lift the left hand up into the air. Maybe take your gaze up past that hand. Stay with me here. Lower your left hand back to the ground. Lift your back heel up. Keep your right leg exactly where it is. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog with the legs just like this. And then lower back down to the mat. You're still keeping the legs in this cross. You're going to stretch the right arm out in front of you. And then bend the right elbow, pat yourself on the back. This might be enough right here. If you can, take the left hand around to your low back, or maybe hook the fingers together here. This is a classic pose that looks like you fell down the staircase and just landed this way. Hang on, stay steady, try to find a little bit of ease in the pose. If you've clasped the hands, release them, draw that right hand back underneath the right shoulder, and push yourself up to downward facing dog. Okay, second side, it's going to start with that downward dog scorpion. So you're going to bring the right foot forward about an inch. Turn the right heel more towards the center of your mat and the right toes out at about a 45-degree angle. Look up between your hands. As you inhale, lift the left leg back and up behind you, and then bend your left knee so your left heel comes in towards your hip. Stay steady with the gaze. Get light into your right hand. If you can free the right hand up, reach it back. See if you can grab that left foot. If you get the foot, look forward. Bring your shoulders a little bit forward. Push your foot up towards the ceiling and back into your hand. And then gently release. Hand back to the mat. Stretch your left leg back behind you, and then as you exhale, lunge that left foot up to the front of your mat. Spin the back heel down if it's not already down. Triangle pose. Straighten the left leg. Bring the left fingers under the left shoulder and circle the right hand back and up. A couple of breaths in the triangle. And then come back into lunge, bend into the left knee, hands frame the left foot. Lift the back heel up. One leg dog. Take your left leg back and up behind you, bend your knee and twist open. First option, stay in the twist. Second option, flip over. So we're playing with changing where our steadiness is in the pose, lifting hands, lifting feet up. If you flipped over, come back around to one leg dog. Lift that left leg back and up behind you. As you exhale, knee to nose, pull the left knee in and then shoot the left foot over to the right. Outer edge of the left foot down onto the ground. Spin the back heel down and then lift that right hand up. Take it up into the air. Maybe take it back behind you in a back bend. And then as you exhale, right hand back to the ground. Stay here, lift the back heel up. Legs are gonna stay in this cross. Lower down, chaturanga. And then inhale, upward dog with your legs crossed. Lower back down to your mat. Stretch your left arm out in front of you. First step is to bend the left elbow. Take your left hand behind your back. Second step is to take that right hand around behind your back. Maybe you rest the back of your hand at your waistline, or maybe you hook the fingers together here. On an exhale, release the bind of the hands. Stretch that left arm out in front, and then bring the left hand back under your left shoulder. Make your way to downward dog. Child's pose, widen the knees out. Bring the big toes together, shift the hips back. Lower your forehead towards the mat. Grounded, steady here. Stiram or steadiness comes first. And then sukham, that ease, layers on top of your posture. Make your way up to hands and knees. So we'll take an inversion here. So I'm going to go into headstand and talk you through headstand. If you want to take shoulder stand or legs up the wall or any inversion, handstand, forearm stand, you can take any of those. I'll talk you through headstand 2, which I think is easier than headstand 1. In headstand 2, both palms are on the ground and the top of the head is on the ground. So from all fours, walk your hands back a little bit and bring the top of your head to the mat. So just with your eyes, look around. You want to just eyeball that you've got the same distance between the two hands, left or right, as you have the distance between each hand up to the head. Instead of flaring your elbows out, squeeze the elbows in a little bit, squeeze the shoulder blades onto the back, and squeeze your belly up towards the spine. Tuck your toes under and lift your hips up. Start walking the feet in, keeping the shoulder blades hugging onto the back. And then take one leg into the air. As you lift that leg up, push into your hands a little bit more and see if you can start to get the other foot to come off the mat. Now, it may only come off an inch or two. If it starts to lift up more, think about squeezing the legs in towards one another. Finding in your inversion that you've chosen that steadiness from what's touching the floor in headstand, top of your head and your hands. And then that ease somewhere in the body. It takes a lot of work to get into the pose. And then once you're there, can you find a little bit of ease? We'll take a couple more breaths in whatever inversion you're in. And then maybe try to use as much steadiness to come out of the pose as you use getting into your pose. We'll start making our way down from the inversion. All right, from here, we're going to take a multivitamin pose. It's called Gomukhasana or cow-faced pose. We'll start to move into it from all fours. If you have knee issues, if your knees don't really like to bend very much, hang on and I'll show you a variation in a moment. Bring your right knee closer to the center of your mat and stretch your left leg back. You're going to take that left knee to the outside of the right knee and then widen your feet apart. When you widen your feet apart, you've created room for your seat to go down between the legs. So you end up in this cross-leg position here. If this is not going to work for your knees, what you're going to do is have your left leg straight and then have the left knee, have the left leg straight, have the right knee bent at some degree on top, outer edge of your right foot on the floor. So we have a nice steady base to rest on here in cow-faced pose. And we'll see what we can do with the top. Take your left arm up. Bend at the elbow, left hand comes behind your head. Take your right arm out to the right. Right palm faces back behind you. And then you're going to bring that right arm down and bend the right elbow. Hands on your back. Your fingers don't have to hook together. For some of you, that happens with just a little bit of firmness. But for some of us, it requires, there's too much pain. So just listen to your body. Be in the pose at the bottom and the top as it feels right for you. We're going to take a breath in here, and then as you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift back up. Take your left arm straight up overhead. Turn your left palm out to the side and lower your hand down. Free your right forearm from behind your back. Turn your right palm up. Take your right hand up and then turn your right palm out to the side and lower down, just resetting that shoulder a little bit. So we'll change sides. If you have your left leg straight in the pose, you're just going to change and put your right knee on top, right foot, a left foot over to the right somewhere, second side. Or you can come into the pose from all fours. If you're doing the both knees bent version, I think that's a little bit easier way to get in. Take your left knee a little bit closer to your right knee. Reach the right leg back and then cross that right knee to the outside of the left leg. Separate the feet from one another and then sit back. Keep pressing the outer edges of your feet into the floor. Now the base is steady. Let's work on the top. Take your right arm up. Bend at the elbow. Right hand comes to your upper back or between your shoulder blades. Take your left arm out to the left. Palm faces behind you. And then bring your hand down. But bend at that left elbow. Maybe you hook the fingers together. You can always use a strap. But the most important thing is to listen to your shoulders and what is the right thing for your shoulders here. If you have pain, back out of the pose. You need to have that steadiness, but also an easefulness in your pose. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lift back up. Take your right arm up overhead, turn your right palm out to the side, and then as you exhale, lower your hand down. Free up your left hand from behind your back, turn your left palm up and reach your arm up overhead, and then left palm out to the side and down. All right, let's free the legs up too. You are going to take the legs into a wide leg stance. Seated wide leg this time. Bring your hands out in front. Try to keep the front of the body long. And as you exhale, walk the hands forward. You use the hands and the arms to support you as you fold in. So you might come onto your elbows or maybe elbows on a prop. You might even walk those hands out and get your chest or chin or forehead on the mat. All right, walk your hands back in. Grab your inner knees, bend the knees, bring the legs into the center, and now you'll roll down onto your back from here. Soles of the feet on the floor. We'll take one back bend here. So bridge pose is really available or most available for most of us. If you want to go into wheel, we've done a lot to open up the shoulders, some to open up the hips. So I'll talk you through wheel if you want to come into that with me. Or you can take a bridge or any other back bend that you want to take from here. For wheel, keep your feet where they are, hip width distance on the mat. Place your hands on either side of your head so that the fingernails are just tucked underneath your shoulders. Draw from your elbows down into your shoulder socket and squeeze the shoulder blades onto the back. Push into the feet, push into the hands, lift your hips up, and then more of a push into the hands. Lift your head, top of your head onto the mat. Maybe walk your hands back a little bit, pull those upper arms into the shoulder sockets, and then a strong push into the hands. Now our base, our steadiness comes from the feet, from the hands, from the feet up into the hips, from the hands up into the shoulders, opening the heart right in the middle. Take a couple of breaths, find a little bit of ease in your back bend that you've chosen. And then as you're ready, lower back down. Once you're down on the ground, hug your knees in and rock across your back. Circle your knees around. Both knees go in one direction, rolling out your low back. Circle your knees in the other direction. And then feet back down onto the mat. We'll stretch out for Shavasana. Reach the legs long, turn the palms up. Hug those shoulder blades under you a little bit so that the heart can lift. And we'll take 3 cleansing breaths here. Deep inhale through the nose. Full exhale through your mouth. Again, big inhale. Full exhale, let it all out. Let the breath go. Last one, deep inhale, fill up the lungs, let the belly rise with that inhale, and then exhale through the mouth, releasing, letting go. Sthira Sukham Asanam.
steady, easeful pose. This posture requires more ease. The steadiness just happens from your back body resting on the solid earth beneath you. As you breathe naturally in corpse pose, try to go just a layer deeper into a softness and into an ease. From the steadiness of your back body, begin to move, wave your fingers and your toes. Maybe stretch your arms overhead. Lengthen out top to bottom, front to back, side to side. And then on an exhale, bend your knees, roll to your side, or if you like, you can just roll right on up to a seat. If you're on your side, take a moment to honor your ability to be steady and firm, but also have a softness and an easefulness. Come on up to a seat. And once you've found your seat, bring your hands to your heart and close your eyes. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.